So, talking about our programming, I talked about that because I just wanted to show how behaving in those ways will sometimes make it look as if you do not love yourself. And the point I was trying to make is that it doesn't mean that you do not love yourself, but it's the result of your programming, like you were told over and over and over again to do these things. Forgive everybody, turn the other cheek, who know better do better. What's the other thing I said? Love everybody, forgive everybody. So if you practice all those things that you were programmed to think, yeah, it will look like you don't love yourself. But we know that deep in our hearts, all of us, or most of us, do love ourselves and we want the best for ourselves. So how do we practice self-love, or what we call self-care? What I want to define self-care as is self-care is self-love in action. So putting self-love in action is practicing self-care. Okay. Practicing self-care is remembering and acknowledging that you are worthy of respect. You are worthy of respect. Now, if somebody comes and is disrespecting you in a way that you don't deserve, we need to forget about that programming that we had when we were young about turning the other cheek and all that stuff. We need to stand up for ourselves. This is self-care now. Self-care means that you stand up for yourself when somebody disrespects you, and you assert yourself and let them know that this will not be accepted. And one way I look at it is to think of yourself as, okay, one way I look at it is sometimes I'll step out of myself and look at the situation, look at what is happening, and I will ask myself, because I know how I feel. You feel hurt, you feel angry, whatever, but we keep it inside. Well, I keep it inside, I keep it bottled up. And I've learned to ask myself, okay, what would you do, or what would you say if somebody did this to somebody you love? And I know that a lot of times we're willing to stand up for somebody else. We stand up for our children, we stand up for our friends. But when somebody hurts us, we take it because we think we can handle it. Like, okay, I can stand it or whatever. And this takes me back to one time when I was in college, and I had one of my best friends. She's this cute little Chinese girl, short and thin, and with a long straight Chinese hair, and all that. She was one of my best friends, and I remember one evening, we were in the dorm, and this guy, somebody we used to talk to, he was sort of like a friend of ours. He came in the room and he started picking on her. Like, he was dragging her hair, touching her face, patting her on the head, and she kept saying, "Stop, leave me alone, leave me alone." And he just took it as a big joke, and he was like, "Oh, you're so cute," and he was patting her on the head, pulling her leg and stuff like that. And I remember I got so angry, and I said to him, "She keeps telling you to stop and you keep doing it." And he's like, "Oh, I'm just playing with her." And I said, "Well, she's not playing with you. She keeps saying stop and you keep bothering her. You need to leave this room right now." And he saw the look in my face, and he looked at me, and he just backed out of the room. And that's what I mean about, what would you do if somebody did this to something you love? What I'm saying is, so he was harassing my friend. Hobie, he thought he was joking or whatever, and I I stood up for her, and I think about that, and I'm like, if somebody was bothering me like that, I would probably like just laugh it off and say, "Oh, he's such a kid. He liked to play too much. I'm not playing whatever." But when he did it to somebody else, I was furious, you know? And that's where we need to get to with ourselves. When somebody hurt you, don't roll over. Don't tolerate it. Don't absorb the pain. Handle it right then and there. And that's something I had to learn. And I'm still learning, because it's, like I say, it's a kind of programming that I had. So I still have to be deprogramming deprogramming myself and learning to undo that programming that I had, where you know better, you know better. No, 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 no. Cut it out right now. Leave, get out. And I don't care if I'm hurting your feelings, because you're hurting me. Get out. Okay, there we go. Treat yourself like a friend. Treat yourself like somebody you love. Remember that you are deserving of respect, and you deserve to be spoken to kindly. You deserve to have your feelings validated. Okay, for example, you be at work and your boss or your coworker, okay, like, you know, you're a good worker, you know you're in the right, and your boss come and talk to you a certain kind of way. You have the right to, even then your boss shouldn't really speak to you no kind of way, but especially when you're in the right, you have every right to speak up and let them know that you know, this is not what happened, and whatever, and they're supposed to listen and validate your feelings. And I just want to, like, say something else about that. Like, I know we all have to work, and we all bite our tongues a lot of time. I mean, so we all have to bite our tongues and whatever, but you know, a part of loving yourself is, we know we all gotta eat, you know, we all gotta earn a living. But if you're not happy where you are, prepare yourself, prepare something for yourself, so that you will eventually be in a position where you can leave. Like, I remember in the last campaign in 2016, Hillary Clinton said something that I always remember. She said, like, somebody asked her, like, what is the message she wants to give to women? And her response was, equip yourself to be resilient. And that resounded with me, because what that says to me is that you should work towards getting yourself in a position where you can be independent, or you can be resilient, or you might have to take some crap for a while, but in the meantime, work on something that will enable you to, one of these days, walk away. That applies to work. And I gotta say, that does apply to our relationships as well. You could be married or not married to somebody, and you're in a relationship. And I see a lot of women in positions where they feel compelled, not compelled, what's the word? They feel that they have to stay with a man, or they have to tolerate and put up with a lot of disrespect because they can't survive on their own. I'm not saying walk away immediately and go and be homeless or whatever, but do something. Work on getting yourself to a point where you can become independent enough to walk away. And by that, I don't mean finding another man to take care of you. Find a way to take care of yourself. And then if when you leave, you find another man, you will have enough strength to vet that person. And like, get to know that person and see if that's somebody you even want to be around you. And you know that take them or leave them, you'll still be alright. You'll still survive. Because you made the preparation and you equipped yourself to be independent. And you equipped yourself to be resilient. So that's self-care. Get a career. And it doesn't have to be a career in the sense that you learn accounting where you're going to go work for some company. If you love to do hair and you become the best hairstylist you can be so that you can open your shop and be your own. If you love to plan events, you could become an event planner. Whatever you love to do, find a way to make it work for you. If you love to like work for somebody, equip yourself to be in a position where you can earn decent money working for somebody. But I'm not saying you have to go get a master's or even a bachelor's. You don't have to do all that, but know the basics, maths and English. And learn the rules of your trade, whatever you're doing. If you're gonna be a plumber, be the best plumber. Plumbers make a lot of money. If you're gonna be a mechanic, be a good mechanic. Mechanics make a lot of money. Electricians make a lot of money. So you don't have to get a master's or a PhD. You can learn a trade and still be independent. And sometimes you're more independent than those people with a PhD because your income potential can be limitless if you open your own company rather than working for somebody else where your income is limited to what they pay you. And that is self-care. Preparing yourself to take care of yourself. Okay, I'm going to touch on this other topic. Self-care also does not mean that you indulge yourself in every little thing you want. Like, self-care doesn't mean that, okay, you got your tax money now, so you're going on a trip. And like now we're quarantining, so nobody can go anywhere. What do you do with your money when you're under quarantine? I don't know. Does money have any value anymore? Because okay, you buy your toilet paper, you buy food. You can't go anywhere. You can't do it. You just gotta chill. So what was I saying? Yeah, self-care or self-love does not mean that you indulge yourself. Yeah, you can treat yourself sometimes or whatever, but sometimes you have to forego the immediate pleasure for another long-term goal. Okay, so things like saving, putting away your money, eating at home rather than going out, wearing the same shoes you have, or like a pair of shoes that's not exactly the 100% perfect shoe to wear to an occasion. But then you put the money aside to do something that's more important, like paying down on a house or investing in some stock, or anything that's more important. That's part of loving yourself too, because okay, even like say instead of going out to eat 5 times a month which is not a lot really. But like, okay, say you just choose to say, okay, now I'm just gonna go out to eat 2 times a month, and you put that money aside to send to your grandmother or your mother. That might not look like self-care, but back to the story of the Good Samaritan. Taking care of the people who have been good to you is biblical, and it's also self-care. Self-care is also eating healthy. So sometimes instead of eating that chocolate cake and you just say, oh, I work hard today, I deserve it. How about saying, I had chocolate cake on Saturday, let me not have it today on Monday again. And you have to be trying to exercise more to get the weight off so that you can look good in your clothes. And I need to remember that. So I went into how I believe that we have been programmed, a lot of us, since childhood, to forego, or what's the word, suppress our own emotions and suppress our own needs in the name of doing good to others. And I really do believe a lot of that programming is erroneous. Erroneous. I do believe a lot of that program is in error, and that has led to a lot of us accepting than less than suitable behavior, and we have allowed people to get away with treating us badly because of that kind of programming. But thank you for bearing with me, those of you who did, and let me know what you think about any of the things I said. I won't get mad. All right. I'm open to other people's opinions, and I'm open to a discussion. So thank you, and that's not happy quarantining. Stay safe. All right. And try to do something productive with this quarantining time that we are going through. Okay, bye.